Check 1, 2.
Go! Curious about real estate? Yes! Then you've come to the right place. Get the knowledge you need. Get over the fear and get started. This is the Michael Quarles Real Estate Show with your host, Michael Quarles.
Hello, everybody. Michael Quarles with podcast number 159. It's Monday morning. For those of you that are listening on the day that we created the podcast, for everybody else, it's just another day of the week. But this Monday's kind of special. We had the long Thanksgiving holiday. I hope everybody enjoyed their activities, had some good times with family and friends or whatever they did, and are now ready to go back to work because we have an exciting time in our investment life right now. Between Thanksgiving and New Year's is always has a tendency of being not necessarily slow, but there's a lot of investors who don't market during this period of time, don't try to create opportunity. So those of us that do, we're going to reap the benefits from that. So just know that a lot of your benchmarks or peer groups are going to take a vacation, which is kind of strange, and they're going to stop whatever they normally would do, and then hit it really hard in January because of all those New Year's resolutions. Now, I understand that to a point. However, I've kind of proved to myself that this is a prime period to market too. In fact, we'll get calls on Christmas from people that want to sell a house. So that tells me that the motivated seller is still out there. And when I can be one of the few people marketing to them, that's absolutely great. Now, I also got to say that just because we send them something to respond to and call us, we better understand, telephone skills and negotiation skills and have a script ready and on hand and the questions to ask them. And if you don't know what to ask a seller and how to communicate with them, that causes them to say yes to an offer that causes you to want to buy the property, well, you need to get inside my Academy program. So we have an Academy. It's bsffacademy.com. And it's $49.97 to get in, and it's $5,000 from your first transaction during the year. So it's a one-on-one coaching program for 12 months. Here we go with the questions. Question number 1. Who is coordinating the BPO and the appraisal? Would you recommend that we manage schedules or hook up the BPO agent and appraiser directly with the seller? No, absolutely don't hook them up with the seller. What you want to do is you want to be the professional in charge of the orchestration of the process. And anytime you let that go, you have to be given that power exchange back. So we want to manage contacting the BPO agent, even if we have to do the merry-go-round of, okay, I'm calling them, then I got to call the seller back, then I got to call them back, let them know that the seller can't meet them on this day. They give me another day, I got to call the seller back, the seller calls, and I can do this, merry-go-round of a red robin of when someone can see someone. I do not want to give the seller and the BPO agent each other's phone number. I want to be in charge. So always be in charge of the BPO and the appraiser. And fall forward. Question number 2. What is the trigger that moves it from a BPO to an appraisal? Is it that the BPO validates what we think we know within a certain percentage? It absolutely is. Well, first of all, there's 2 things that we're doing when we get a BPO. First of all, the first thing that we're doing, kind of crazy, first thing we're doing is determining that we have a sellable property by being able to order a BPO. So not every property that you put under contract will you be able to order a BPO. If you can't get a BPO done on a piece of property, do not buy it. So the first thing that we're doing, the first thing that ordering a BPO does for us is tell us if we have a property that has a possibility of being resold. If we can't find an agent, or an agent keeps telling us, no, don't work that neighborhood, don't work that neighborhood, don't work that neighborhood, that's raising the red flags for us, because if we can't get an agent to go out there that we're paying, keep in mind we're paying them, why would I think I can get a buyer to go out there and look at a house? Because an agent's not going to travel out there with their buyer. If they won't travel out there for $150, probably not going to travel out there with a buyer because of whatever it is. Maybe that city is so small that there's not enough agents there. Maybe it's in a crime area. Maybe whatever it is. History of the area doesn't sell fast. I don't care what it is. If you can't get a BPO done, don't buy it. The second thing that the BPO is doing is it's gathering more information for us. So although the seller sent us pictures, the BPO agent's actually doing an interior BPO. So they're actually getting their own pictures. They're doing their own evaluation. They're giving us information for us to determine whether or not we want to fall forward. So we may contract the house correctly. So say we're buying a $200,000 house for $50,000, and we think we have a great deal. And according to the numbers on the BPO, yeah, got a great deal. But maybe this house isn't really a hotel house, and it's a rehab house. Well, we've got to ask ourselves, do we want to buy a rehab house if we're in a hotel model? And the answer to that would be no. If at the end of the day, the BPO agent comes back to us and says, you're buying it at a great price, but it's never going to sell at that price because of whatever the circumstances are, then we need to know that. And then they're confirming what we think the house is worth. And if they do that, then we're going to order the appraisal. So really scrutinize what that BPO agent is giving you back and what is all the underlying and between the lines kind of meaning that their report's giving you. So just don't take it on the black and white face value of, hey, it came in at value. Really look at it and go, okay, tell me, can you sell this thing? No, you can't sell this thing. What do you think my days on market for it is in its at condition right now? Well, I think in its at condition, you'll never sell. Well, I don't want to buy it. I'm not a rehabber. So I really want to learn a lot. Now, if I learn everything I need to know and all of them are positive to my benefit, then I'm going to fall forward with the appraisal. The appraiser is going to give me things that the BPO agent didn't give me. And the main thing that they're going to give me is a loanable document. So they're going to give me an appraisal that if I needed to, I could take to an underlying lender and justify my determination of value. So it's an important process. Question number 3. To confirm, if a house has tenants, you're still moving forward with the BPO appraisal process, correct? Absolutely. Now, we're going to try to buy a vacant property, but that doesn't mean that we're always going to be able to buy a vacant property. That just means we're going to try to. So what I mean by that is if an opportunity arises that we can actually buy a house and mitigate the cost by a lower sales price of the possibility of having to evict a tenant and all the eviction and holding costs while we're evicting them, then we're probably going to fall forward. But I'd much rather go ahead and buy a house that's vacant. But not every case are we going to be able to do that. Some cases they'll have family members in there that they don't want to deal with the explanation of why they're having to move and all those kinds of things. Sometimes we're going to buy a house from someone that's been abusing the seller, and they don't want to deal with the tenant anymore. I don't really care. I'm just going to go buy a house. And again, we're going to mitigate the costs of that eviction process and learn what your eviction process costs are for your local marketplace and understand that that's just part of what we do as real estate investors. We solve problems.
Thanks for listening to Buy, Sell, Fix, Flip. We'll be right back. Are you running out of leads? It's time you tried Yellow Letters at yellowletters.com. Get motivated seller leads through yellow letters, postcards, zip letters, typed professional letters, greeting cards, door hangers, and business cards. Yellow Letters is a full-service marketing company created with your success in mind. Get the personal attention you need to get your direct mail campaign started and get in touch at yellowletters.com.
And we are back in 3, 2, 1.
Question number 4. What is the reason for targeting 2/3 of median value of a home within a given zip code? If you've listened to any of the podcasts or me long enough, you'll know that I like looking at 2/3 median. How many houses are in my marketplace? If I know median's 300,000, how many of them are valued at 200,000 or less that have 30% equity or greater, or $30,000 in equity or greater? And the reason I like the 2/3 median is because if median, which is the number of houses, the actual middle, not average, but the middle number of houses have sold below that and above that, that means in that marketplace, I have 1/3 of the value of median that my property can increase in value. So You know the old adage, you never want to buy the most expensive house on the block. You want to buy the cheapest house on the block, because the expensive one won't gain value as fast as the cheapest one, because the cheaper ones are going to look at and take value from, not take value from, but they're going to earn value based upon the value of the expensive house. So if I have a neighborhood that has, as an extreme, $500,000 houses in it, $600,000 houses in it, $700,000 houses in it, and it makes my median 600. If I take 2/3 of that, so if I buy a house at 400,000, then I know that the amount of room between my 400 and what some of the other houses are worth, that's 700,000-800,000, that my house can climb. Now, it's not going to climb all the way, but it will climb faster than if I had bought that $700,000 or $800,000 house, even at a discount. It may stay flat from a value perspective. I'll still make great money, but I want to make money in time too. I don't want to just make money based upon today. If I have to hold that house for 90 days to sell it, or if I keep it as a tenant occupied, I want to be able to create an appreciable value to that over time. So I have found that if I market to 2/3 of median or lower properties, or an area that has an abundance of those, the chances of me buying one of those houses are greater. So great question. Hope that answered that question. Question number 5. What is an embedded command? I hear you talk about it a lot. Gosh, I do talk about embedded commands a lot. And I hope that embedded commands aren't the only thing you hear me talk about. I talk about embedded commands, pacing, mimicking, positive and negative reinforcements, some over-the-phone neurolinguistics. And what all this means and why we do it is a negotiation between two people doesn't occur until people are listening. So if we're just talking to each other, but we're really not listening, and we all know what that's like, because, like my wife will talk to me, and I'm not listening to her. I may be hearing her, but I'm not listening to her. And she'll say, well, you're not listening to me now. And I'll be able to say, well, you just said this and this and this and this and this and this, but I'm not listening. I'm just hearing her. So I know what she said, but it doesn't have any meaning to me because I haven't internalized it yet. Well, through the use of embedded commands, mimicking, pacing, positive, negative reinforcements, and some neurolinguistics, we can actually capture the seller and have them start listening to us. Well, here's a big example of an embedded command. When I come out to buy your house tomorrow, how many of you guys have said that to a seller? When I come out to buy your house tomorrow. When we agree on a price, you can consider your house sold. Not only sold, but sold to somebody who can afford to buy it. And in fact, the nice thing about my program that a lot of people like yourself have liked is that you can actually have your money on the day of your choice. All we need to do now is just simply agree to a sales price, and you can consider your house sold. Full of all kinds of positives in that. How many people do that? Now, keep in mind, I didn't tell them I was giving them my money. I was giving them their money. So you can have your money on the day of your choice. It's just a whole big difference between you can have my money on the day of your choice. I want to have them live the idea that their house is sold, not only sold, but sold to somebody who can afford to buy it. And so as another example, when we set an appointment with someone, we don't say something like this. And if you guys have said this, raise your hand, because I know we've all said it. I mean, this isn't like news. I mean, it's just rehashing old stuff. But we've all said this. We've all said something like, "What, you going to be around tomorrow? I'll stop by." I have no idea why people say those things. Well, first of all, are you going to be around tomorrow? I don't know what that implies. Are you going to be fat? Are you going to be chubby? You're going to be, at your home? I have no clue. I'm assuming that it means, are you going to be at your home tomorrow? I'll stop by. I have no clue. I have never stopped by a house. I have yet to stop by a house. I go to homes to buy them, but I have yet to stop by one. So when I say something like that to a seller, it sounds like this. What time tomorrow can I come out and actually buy the house? Would 2 o'clock or 4 o'clock be better? Oh, 4 o'clock would be great. Fantastic. And then we're going to go into some more of the script, but I don't leave them wondering, well, are they really show up? No, I'm making an appointment. I'm giving them an alternate choice. I'm giving them an embedded command. What time can I come out and buy your house tomorrow? So I'm buying the house tomorrow. So I'm buying it, and it's happening tomorrow. at this time. Which times are better, 2 o'clock or 4 o'clock? Now, I know a lot of you are going to say, well, I can't do that. That doesn't sound comfortable. That's not who I am. Well, bull crap. That's all I have to say about it. You know what? If you want to be a real estate investor that buys a lot of houses, or even 5 or 10 or 15, learn how to talk and communicate and negotiate with sellers. Because here's the deal. And I'm going to say this slow enough that people hear it. When a seller can agree with themselves, it's much easier for them to sell you a house than when they have to agree with you to sell them their house. And that's all about negotiation. So when a seller can agree with themselves, it's easier for them to sell you a house. So all I'm doing through my negotiation is convincing them through dialogue and technique that the value that I want them to place on the house, because I'm never going to talk numbers, that I want them to place on the house, one is their idea. They can justify it. It's their offer to me. I'm accepting their offer, which is really my offer to them that I've communicated to them using embedded commands, pacing, mimicking, positive, negative reinforcements, and neurolinguistics. So we're having a conversation. They wanted pie in the sky price. Through a negotiation and a conversation that they've listened to, and they've listened to it because I've used correct verbiage while I've communicated with them. Because they've listened to it, they can now justify a lower sales price, less than the pie in the sky, normality land, getting their house sold today, not only sold, but sold to somebody who can actually afford to buy it. And they're going to get their money on the day of their choice. And they're going to be like all the other people that were normal, that liked my program. Guys and gals, if you don't understand the basic, and this is basic, but it's really advanced. If you don't understand dialogue and communication skills, man, sign up for the academy, because we practice that a lot. And there is a difference between setting an appointment to look at a house and setting an appointment to buy a house. And shame on you if you set appointments to look at houses. We're only out there for 3 things. 1, we're going to confirm what we think we know. Yeah, it's a house. It's got 3 bedrooms, 2 baths. It was built in 1970. It looks like a 1970 built house. We're going to determine what we don't know. Because everything's on black and white on paper as we look through, Zillow and all the other online services that are going to give us information. That's all black and white. We really don't get to see it. Sometimes we'll get to see a Google picture, but we really don't get to see the house. So we're going to determine things. Some of the cabinet drawers don't work. The sliding bypass doors in the closets don't work. The drain in the shower leaks. This, that. They're really going to prison, not getting a job transfer. So we're going to determine what we don't know. But the most important thing that we're there for is to get a contract signed. Shame on us. Shame on us. If we do not take at least 2 contracts with us, should take 4, but I think 2 is at least 2. 1 to give to them, 1 to take with you, so that you can say you've bought the house. Because if you don't give them a copy of the contract, it's a fraudulent, it's not a binding agreement. You got to give them a copy, so you have to take at least 2, unless you have a copy machine in your car, and you make a copy of it. Okay? So 2 copies. I like 4. Here's why you like 4. Now, I know that when I start filling out the agreement to purchase the house, and sometimes I'll start filling it out prior to them saying yes to the sales price or giving me a sales price I can say yes to. But that's okay, because I know that's what I'm there for. I'm there to get a contract signed. I might as well start filling it out. I'm never going to have a contract pre-filled out. Shame on us if we do that. Don't ever do that. Don't ever take a contract. Even if you know the address, don't fill it in on your computer before you print it out. Make sure you fill everything out in front of the seller so it looks like it's brand new. But I'm going to start filling out sometimes prior to getting the okay to buy the house kind of stuff. But man, it's some positive stuff happens when you do this stuff correctly. And if you don't know how to do it, get in the academy. I'll show you. But it's some really cool stuff. I could go on and on and on about this stuff, and I'm going to make another podcast tomorrow or the next day, and we'll fall forward with that. I got to talk a little bit about marketing. Do not stop marketing. I said it at the beginning of the podcast. Do not stop marketing, because if you stop marketing, I'm going to get you a house. I'm going to buy the house that you should have bought. That's what's going to happen. Maybe not me personally, but somebody in your marketplace is going to buy the house that you were unwilling to market for because you stopped marketing because someone said, oh, it's a slow time of year. Too bad that someone said it to you. Just keep marketing. So what? Let them be broke and have a horrible Christmas because they didn't do the things they needed to make sure that they had the money in their bank account that causes them to have success. But don't stop marketing. Do not stop marketing. Second thing, again, we've got a list of way too many houses to buy. I know the program's working too well when I cannot buy them all. And here's what I did. After Gabriel wanted to beat me up, and you guys know who Gabriel is if you listen to the podcast long enough, he beat me up long enough to say, Mike, we need to do this. I said, okay. So he's put a list together of properties that we're willing to wholesale. Gross. Yuck. But I'm doing it. I'm eating my own words. I'm doing it, and you can find the list of properties that are available for wholesale at this web address. So let's write this down if you're interested in getting a list of highly reduced houses that you can buy all across the country. In your city, someone else's city, all across the country, they're all good deals. That address is www.1800-SELL, SELL, the number 4, cash, CASH.com/property-list. One more time, www.1800-SELL, SELL, for the number 4, cash.com/property, then a hyphen, list. That's as easy as it gets. One more time, www.1800-SELL for cash/property-list. So if you want to get in on that list, get some deals in your area, a great way to buy houses without marketing, I guess. And fall forward. Talk to you guys soon. Bye-bye.
Thanks for listening to the Michael Quarles Real Estate Show. Get more info and stay in touch at michaelquarles.com.